Good evening, everybody, and welcome to some stat check bonus content. I guess it's like 11 a.m. for you, Jeremy, right? Welcome to some stat check bonus content. I'm Innes. I'm joined by Jeremy. We are here for our quarterly balance update review for the December data slate. It has been a long time coming. We've all been waiting. We've been eager, bated breath. We've all been pummeled in the face by Victory Scarred Admech Sisters and Eldar recently, and we're all looking for our vengeance. And this is our, our cry into the night. What has Games Workshop wrought for us? Jeremy,
Thanks for that hope.
how you doing, buddy? How's your overall thoughts on the balance this slate? How you getting on?
I'm doing well enough. I'm still not feeling great, but that people probably realize that for me just not being on the show lately. But yeah, I don't know. Slate is a slate. It's a nothing burger for some factions. It's painful for others, and generally for the meta. I mean, it'll probably improve it, but it's not going to fix it. They never fully do.
Yeah, I think that's entirely reasonable. It was like interesting to see it do what I thought was nailing about half the factions, ignoring most of the remainder, and then doubling down on a couple of terrible decisions. Feels like kind of where it's landed for me.
Yeah, the doubling down on bad decisions is part of what I've seen.
Yeah, and that's the bit that I'm not super happy about. So, as usual for the format of this one, we're going to go through all of the factions in alphabetical. I don't believe there were any game rule wide changes this time. That we need to
No,
do
they uploaded a. It's funny they uploaded a change to the mission pack, and I was very curious, very wondering what the hell it was that they had changed because I couldn't find anything, and I realized it was just they were updating the base size document. So don't care. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
So
I mean, I appreciate the work that they do in that, like genuinely do.
Yeah, no,
it's a great document, but also you didn't need to mark it as new.
Okay, so we're not talking about any game-wide changes. There's no big armoric attempt change or anything like that. So we're not doing anything in that sense. So let's just start at the top. Faction alphabetical order, I think.
Yeah,
What's first, Jeremy?
Test. The Sisters of Battle.
All right. So where do we have Sisters coming into this one? Because I think we all thought, and the stats were showing the Sisters were one of the top armies in the game right now.
Yeah, I actually have things open. Give me 1 second. Nope, I closed it.
So when we were on the show last night, we had Sisters sitting in 3rd or 4th place with a very solid win rate, something like a 53.4% win rate, I think is what I recall over the last 3 weeks. I can go and find it from the last 3 weeks of stats. Actually, that would be an easier way to interact with this. Yeah, Sisters were in 2nd place with a 2.49 over rep and 56.3% win rate. So definitely an army that felt like they needed to come down. And I think that broadly happened, right? Like I think we're looking at a good set of changes for Sisters. I think Sisters are one of the armies that I think they did a good job on. Overall, I know that some Sisters players are probably upset, but as far as our list goes, we have the Canoness going up 10, the Celestian Sacrosanct in the 10-man squad only going up 10, Dominions up 5, Hospitaller, and I assume that's 5 per. That's just 5 for the flat unit because that's not how they work. Hospitaller plus 10, so that's plus 20 points on the Sacrosanct Hospitaller combo, 15 on Morven, 15 on Retributors, and 10 on Sanctifiers. Feels like a completely reasonable set of changes. Hit all of the best stuff, but not put any of it to irrelevancy, I suppose. Like 120 still feels very reasonable.
Like a good comparison would be like kind of like a Fairweather for this would be Jack Harpster's list from Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
His list lost, I think it was 125 points, which is basically cut a Retributor unit and an enhancement.
Yeah,
which is
or a chaff unit or a vehicle, right? Like it's not that hard to find the points.
Yeah, well, he had no vehicles in his list.
Okay, fair.
Oh, sorry, he had Immolators and Rhinos, both of which were essential, but you basically cut a unit, maybe a unit and a chaff, and it's still fine. And yeah, I'm looking at, so I've got the full data set from the last, like, let's see how many events, 136 events that was using this set, and Sisters were sitting in 2nd overall for win rate, as well as 2nd overall for overrep, and they were also 2nd for like event wins. They were only behind Marines as a whole faction for event wins.
Most armies are behind Marines for most things, so
yeah. Well, I mean that's unusual for Marines.
Yeah, and looking at like Bringers of Flameless came down sort of like between 50 and 90, depending on exactly what you were running. If you were maxing out on Retributors and Vol and Sacrosanct, so if you were playing like triple Sacrosanct, triple Retributor, yeah, you were going to catch a bigger points nerf, right?
Yeah, that's only 90 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a unit of Retributors, and then you have a little bit of room after the what. But yeah.
So yeah, I think Sisters make out pretty well. There's nothing in here that makes me think Sisters will not continue to be a powerful army. They definitely come down in context, though.
Yep. Kind of nice. It means I only have to finish 2 of my Retributor squads, not 3.
I'm pretty sure you just keep playing. You just keep playing 3 Retribution. You got other stuff, but
Yeah.
all right. Who's second on the alphabetical order?
Custodes.
Okay. Custodian.
Can they stop pushing Custodian Guard? They went down 10 points last slate, and they went down another 10 points this slate.
Yeah, so we saw what? 5 points per model on Alaris, 10 points on Custodian Guard at both levels, 5 points on Vigilators and Witch Seekers, basically 5 points per 4 broadly is how it kind of works.
It was 10 for the 10, and then 25 for the 10 for Vigilators, and then 25 for the 10 on Witch Seekers, which I still don't think you see the big unit of. I think you just take 2 4-mans.
10s of Vigilators become kind of interesting.
10s with
even
Vigilators
more.
with a Centura are terrifying.
They've
or
been
with
like
Alea for that matter.
I've seen people playing them recently already in Lions because they get the +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So you
I've
do
played
like
into them. They're
Yeah.
actually they're fast, like
the Alea
insanely
squad
fast
with
the Knight Centura.
Alea squad gets fight first. They can take rhinos. It turns out melee and rhinos good this edition. Did anyone notice that? So I think there's definitely a world where we're looking at like I could see a world where playing 30 of them in Lines of the Emperor could be kind of interesting. Maybe alongside like 30 Custodian Guard.
30 Custodian
'Cause you
Guard
could
is
definitely fit that now.
1,140 points now.
Yep.
And then 30 Vigilators is another 300. 3 Rhinos is another 270. So yeah, you
You
have
don't
that
even need 3
+1 for
rhinos, right? You
characters.
only need 2 because you don't need to play Aleas. You can just play outside one.
Sure, but still.
2 rhinos is enough.
What if
Yeah,
you're
I think
running for your Witch
Custodes,
Seeker scouting forward.
yeah, people are telling me Alaris are playable now. I still don't agree, but I'm sure someone
Maybe
will
they are.
continue
It's
trying to make them work.
at 55 points a model. Maybe they are.
They're still 15 points in model more expensive than a Victrix card.
Let's not do that.
We have to compare everything to Victrix card. The game has
Yeah,
just been balanced. Victrix card are the balanced state of Warhammer now. I'm going to be
Yeah.
really, really trying my best not to make this just a Victrix bitch
Kill
section.
me now.
Okay, so Custodes overall, I think come out fine. Like Custodes were
they're slight
okay
winners of
going
this.
in. They
They were
coming out.
fine before, I think.
48.5% win rate, 1.15 over rep. They get a little better.
Yeah, like
Okay.
they've actually won a decent number of events through the whole sequence. I think they're in like 5th or 6th for when it comes to event wins. So
Yeah, Custodes are generally a pretty popular army, which helps their event win metric, but their overrep's not crazy. Their win rate's fine. I don't see anything wrong
they
with
didn't really need any major changes, and this pushes units that you didn't see a lot of. Like the Custodian Guard spam lists were starting to show up with the last update.
I've been pushing them hard. I keep trying to convince people.
I mean, Hadar from Team Iceland has been pushing them super hard for like 2 years now, and every single time someone says, "What do I want to play for Custodes?" It's like, don't play Wardens. Just play Shield Host and like 30 Guard.
I like my one squad. I like my
one squad is fine. I still think that you can do better, but
yeah, that's fair. All right, who's up next?
Admech.
All right, you know a lot more about Admech than most people. So talk to us about where Admech were coming into the slate and what you think they needed and what they got.
Yeah, so Admech were indisputably the best army in the game going into this. We're coming off the back of Worlds where Richard Siegler won Worlds very handily with that. They had a 58% win rate. They had only won 5 events, which is rather mind-boggling.
They had, yep.
But that's also because their play rate remained fairly low. They were still I think they were the 2nd or 3rd lowest play rate army. They're an army that has a huge hobby lag to it. So it was mainly people that already owned Admech that were playing them, except in the last couple of weeks where people had finally gotten caught up. But I think the writing was on the wall for most folks where they knew that this army was going to get hit. So they had won 5 events. They had a 58% win rate over the last 2 months. And they had a 2.16 over rep. So best in every category except for event wins, and that's just because small representation. The interesting thing about them is that there were 2 major builds. You had the Halo Screed Battleclade list, which was usually revolving around 1 or 2 units of Cataphrons, and then you had the Skitarii Hunter cohort, which was much more focused on just as many bodies as you could possibly slam into a list,
and many more Las chickens, basically.
Yeah, you usually were running close to max, if not max, Las chickens in the Hunter cohort, and you were usually running more Sikaran infiltrators than Rust Stalkers, just because of the buffs that are handed out in each detachment are different enough that it changes up the builds. You're also usually running 40 to 45 of the Flappy Birds, the Taraxi in Hunter cohort. So They took an interesting approach to this. They did not touch breachers or destroyers, but they
Which
did
I think
hit.
is fine.
I think it's fine because I played double Cataphrone Brick Halo's Creed at Worlds, partly because I wanted to play Hunter Cohort, but my hands are still kind of shit. So I was like, let's play 30 less models than the best list. And so Call went up. Call is an amazing data sheet and is probably auto include until you get to about 250 points, and he's 210. So
Yep, sounds like an auto include still.
yep. Right, 1 second, my camera's off.
No worries. Yeah, I think AdMech overall, like, so to summarize the point changes for AdMech, to kind of give a bit more context to this, we got pretty major like increases. So for all of the Sicarians and Ruststalkers and Skystalkers went up 5 points per 5, and then an additional 5-point premium on 10 mans of Infiltrators and Ruststalkers. Iron Strider Ballistarian went up 10 points a model, and Call went up 35. So if you have something like Richard Seeker's list that was playing 60 Sicarians and Ruststalkers,
215 points his list went up.
Yeah, went up 250, right? Which is basically because it was maxing out 4 of those squads of 10, and then 30 more of the Skystalkers, and then 9 Iron Striders and Call, right? So yeah, obviously the list that was spamming all of the best AGs in the book. Now it's still, those units are still very cheap for what it's worth. Infiltrators are what 80, 150, 165 now.
75, 155 for Infiltrators.
75, they're the same.
It's Ruststalkers that are 80, 165.
Yeah, they're very, very cheap. They're like the same points as Scouts, basically, and they do a lot. So
they do. And
they are
like my list from the double breacher list only lost 110 points. So that's
most
even
of
easier to
Call, right? Most of that comes from Call, who is just an all include. So
yeah, I was also running a bunch of Skystalkers, Infiltrators, and Ruststalkers, just not nearly as many. Yay! All right. Apologies, folks. My camera is going to be apparently acting up.
We're having a funky Jeremy disco party. It's okay.
Yeah, you get a disco. You get a disco Jeremy today.
He just doesn't like Space Wolves. All right. So yeah, I think AdMech basically you're going to end up cutting 1 unit of 10 of something, and you've got dealer's choice where you can do that, or you can go down like a 5-man. You can cut 2 Iron Striders, maybe 3, and that kind of gives you into that space of playing an army that is much more manageable now. I personally think this is probably about 100 points too little. I really think it needed to lose about 2 units, but we'll see how it lands, because I think some other stuff got a little better in the context around it, and with like Victor's card coming out into the metagame and stuff like that, there's a few more Predators that can play AdMech now. But broadly, I think AdMech makes out pretty well from some of the armies that were quite good into it getting nerfed, like Eldar, particularly. Like, we had a very playable matchup into it, and now is much worse. So yeah, I think there's interesting times ahead for AdMech. I would not be surprised to see them remain at the top of the meta game.
I still think they're a top 5 army easily, if not still one of the best in the game.
Yeah, I have them at probably 2 or 3 right now.
Yeah. So then we've got Titanicus isn't a real army. We got Eldari next.
Eldari, okay. So I think Eldar were one of the top 3 coming out of the meta game. It was them, Space Marines, and AdMech were my top 3 coming out of the previous meta game. And I think Eldar, the biggest problem with them is there's so many of their rules were uninteractive, where it was just basically explosive models came out from behind a wall and murdered you, and then either janky bullshitted their way through your phase while taking minimal damage and minimal interaction, or didn't get interacted with. And it created a lot of tension on you to be able to force them to do things. And it created a very, very unengaging playstyle. And I think Games Workshop has kind of gone into it being like, okay, we're going to limit the amount of transport shenanigans that Eldar can do so that they actually feel fragile. Because I think that's the thing that was missing for Eldar, was that they were too good at getting away with not playing the game with you, because they were so good at getting back in transports and just doing damage to you from random ranges.
Yeah,
so they got one of the few rules changes this patch was to Eldar. And
yeah, in fact, they got 5
like
rules changes. Yeah. So first one is Star Engines, which is the ability to give a vehicle D6+1 when it does no move. Now it's when you advance, it gives it assault, which means you don't give the vehicle extra movement for disembark shenanigans or anything like that.
You can't even disembark now.
I know, because you just have your normal move that you can deal with now. So this is a heavy hit to their mobility.
A massive nerf.
Yeah. I was playing in a little friendlies 5-man scrim last week, and my opponent was regularly rolling 6s on Star Engines, and I was getting very annoyed, so I ended up just tagging them with a unit of Anvets and said, "Stop moving." But
Yeah, also massive nerf to Armored Warhost, who naturally gives all its vehicles assault. Just has one less
which
trophy.
yeah, that detachment exists. That's true. And then the other big change is that for both Aspect Host and Warhost, not is that you can't get back into a transport with the stratagem. Well, sorry,
With either stratagem,
Warhost.
basically.
Yeah, Warhost. Sorry, an Aspect Host you could if you were eligible to fight. It just means that you can't like do the Fire Dragon trick of get out, shoot, get back in, get out, shoot, get back in. You would have to get out, shoot, charge, get back in. Which no.
Be very careful about leaving random chaff units that Fuegan can murder near.
I don't think we'll be seeing too much of that. But
I
yes,
mean, if you, yeah, I think Aspect Host is still a perfectly playable detachment. It's just not this playable
very much so.
anymore.
Very
It's
much
just
so.
unfortunately, the detachment is fine. The data sheet's also got punched in the face, which doesn't help.
Yes.
They also changed Aspect Shrine tokens to only work on the unit, not the character, which was a change that was kind of heralded by Drukhari and was a good change, I think. Ultimately, it allows the character to be much more balanceable.
Yeah, the biggest abusers of it were Asserman and Fuegan, mainly Fuegan.
Mainly Fuegan, yeah.
You saw
I mean,
more of
also
him than
like
you did
Morgan
Asserman.
Ra wasn't not abusing it with devastating wounds, and there were like every single instance of that ability was very powerful somewhere.
Yeah, and then coupled with all of these rule changes, they also ate some, I would say, fairly mild point hikes.
Yeah, I think very reasonable point hikes. There are two that are kind of crazy to me, but
I don't know
Eldrad
why
plus
Storm
10,
Guardians went up.
yeah, Eldrad plus 10, Fire Dragons 10 man plus 20, putting them so they no longer get a discount in 10 mans. It was crazy they got a discount in 10 mans to begin with. 120, 240 is completely reasonable. It did not need to be 120, 210, 220. Jane's R plus 15, Lycus plus 15, Storm Guardians plus 10. The Swooping Hawks 5-man squad went up 10 points to match them. You no longer get a discount in the 5-man squad. And War Spiders 5-mans went up 10 points. I think all of those except Storm Guardians and Eldrad make total sense to me. All of those days are very powerful. I kind of wish Lycus had
Eldrad at
gotten a rules
120 is
change.
so expensive.
Hmm?
Eldrad at 120 is so expensive.
Especially when he's a CP generation, and CP generation is already like the weakest form of like actually just giving you a CP is the weakest form of CP generation because it interacts with card discarding as well. Whereas like free strats and all that kind of stuff is
when you have autarks and whatnot available to you for discounts, he's good, but
yeah, I would
if anything that hurts the new Harlequin detachment more than anything else.
Yeah, well, the Lycus change also interacts pretty poorly with that because that like handing out crit 5s for the sustained hits was a very powerful interaction that detachment could take use of, and it's much harder to do now. I still think Lycus and Jane's are all takes. I don't think there's any world you don't take them. I think that Lycus probably, I think Flicker Jump needed to just change to be 18 inches, and then you could have skipped both these points changes. I don't see any world where it needs to be 24, but
yeah.
If it's going to stay at 24, it's one of those things of it's a rule with so much uncapped power, so much potential that you have to balance it around the most powerful cases, which ends up just with the unit continuing to get more and more expensive. Whereas you could just limit the power of the rule and let them just be a chaff unit, and I think people would generally prefer that. You don't have to play around infinite bullshit. You just have to play around 6 inches of extra movement, right? It's more or less auto advance 6, but can still do stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable.
Yeah, like if you were just like War Spiders auto advance 6 when they flicker jump. That I don't think anyone would have been like, oh yeah, that's bullshit, right?
Yeah, I would probably remove the mortals then.
Yeah, all advanced or like all advanced 6 roll a dice on a 1, it's a mortal wound, right? For one guy or something like that, right? You could definitely
the old rule but reduce.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would have been fine.
I think that would have been much more. Or make it 2d6. If you roll doubles, you take a mortal wound, or you lose a guy. We could do that some different ways. Oh no, Jeremy's definitely left me and not giving me the next one. Okay. So what does Eldar go next? I think Eldar builds. There is Seer Council, there is Windrider Host that are both still pretty okay. I don't know how they adapt to the changes from points, but I think both of those versions are completely manageable. I think Seer Council has still got some pretty cool power, being able to pick up and drop the Baharroth squad or Fuegan and 10 Fire Dragons or having a 10 Dark Reapers with Lone Operative are both powerful interactions. And if the metagame is getting a little bit weaker, being able to lean into some of the power from Seer Council might be a place to go. I think Windrider Host remains one of the most underexplored detachments in the game. There have been a few people playing it here and there, but it's a very difficult army to play. It's a lot of micro interactions like that, and it doesn't take a ton of changes from the points. And I think there's definitely a world there where it becomes interesting, and you can just keep playing Aspect Host. All of the stuff that Aspect Host was doing, you can still play 2 to 3 squads of Banshees, 2 to 3 squads of Hawks and Spiders. You just play like 2 squads of 5 Fire Dragons, and you don't worry about them getting back into transfer, right? You play them like you play them more like Inari did, where they're just going to go out and they're going to die, and that's fine. They still traded for a vehicle that was more expensive than their 120 points, and if they're not good in the matchup, they just sit at the back of the board, and it's fine. It doesn't have to get crazy for Eldar players. It's completely reasonable to just keep playing more or less the same thing. Do I think Eldar is going to be one of the top 5 armies in the game anymore? No, I don't think they are. I think they're going to fall into somewhere in the middle of the pack where very good Eldar players will be beating up on people that they play against, and everyone else will just kind of lose because the army is hard to play. Consider trying the Harlequin detachment. It might be interesting. The Lycus points nerfs were not like crippling, and being able to hand out crit 5s like a big squad of troops jumping out of Falcon potentially, or handing out crit 5s to the bikes potentially can give you some really interesting direction. So I think there's definitely some place to try there. I think Eldar, when you're used to playing on the sharpest end of all of the interactions of the game, being balanced feels boring. And I hadn't put my hand in the air and say that, when Gene Stealer cults got nerfed, I immediately ditched them, despite them being a completely reasonable army right now. Having played them when they were busted and then going to play them when they're boring is going to feel weird. So Eldar players, you're just going to have to get used to not being able to have completely uninteractive engagements with your opponent. You're going to have to take safer trades and fair and more balanced equations and judge the outputs more and be more careful with it. And unfortunately, that's just part of playing an army. Unfortunately, Eldar are not going to get away. You can still do some of the interactive stuff, right? You can still have a Falcon with Jane's R coming in and out, jumping back into a transport, right? You can still do that. It just has a fail state now. Your opponent can heroic, they can interrupt, they can overwatch. It'll be a lot more like playing Warp Talons than it is playing Scourges, right? And I think that's an okay dynamic to kind of move into. Playing Warp Talons destroyed my nerve endings, but yeah, no, it's completely reasonable to kind of look at that as a solution. All right, I just looked up the alphabetical list myself to save Jeremy the effort. So next up we have Astra Militarum, who I believe got no changes. I think Astra Militarum's idea was basically we are just going to let Grizzled Company come out and shake up the meta game and see how it is. I think Guard were, from our stats, certainly, we're in a very, very good position. Our stats last night had them over the last 30 weeks at a 48.5% win rate, but a 2.19 overrep with 6 event wins. They were the second most event wins in the sample, which is very, very powerful. I think Guard are going to be very, very good, but they had no major changes.
Yeah, they
and
were
I think
third
that
overall with event wins. They've won 10 out of the last 130 or so events. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think Guard are pretty good. They're one of the armies that are on my short list for when I have a chat with Anthony tonight. So.
It'll be fun to see what you guys cook up out of that, because that book it's in a very good range, and of course the Grizzled Veterans detachment doesn't make that any worse.
It's a pile of Kazakin in the palm of my hand right now.
Yeah, fucking Kazakin. I have nightmares about those guys.
Yeah, they were very fun in Brood Brothers. I can't wait to see them with a detachment rule. All right, who's up next after Astra Militarum?
We've got Black Templars. So everyone, this is Logan. Logan has been pestering me all morning because he wants love.
Logan deserves love.
Logan does deserve all the love. So Black Templars got hit pretty hard, I would say. 10-point increases on the Castellan and Emperor's Champion, 15-point increases on the Repulsor Executioner, and then some cuts to data sheets that I didn't even know existed. The Execrator and the Crusade Ancient both went down 10 points. The Crusade Ancient is now 55 points, so he's real cheap for like just a solo character. And then the Gladiator Valiant went down 10 points, so it's now the same cost as the baseline Marine one.
The Gladiator Valiant is a data sheet that really should get more play than it does. I've just never been able to meaningfully fit one into a list, but like
it's like the 6th data sheet in most lists that you kind of want to put in there.
Yeah, it was really good in original Ironstorm, but yeah. I think the Refax is still insanely good at this points value. I have no idea why it still rerolls the hell on Overwatch.
Just make sure no one's within 12 of it.
It's still just good, right? Yeah, let me just make sure my opponent's tabled before I walk near their Refax. Is fantastic. This post brought to you by an AdMech player, clearly.
I've played against new Black Templars once and I lost to them, so
yeah,
it was with Voting, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, Black Templars also going to lose what, like between 50 and 80 points, depending on exactly how hard you were going into some of the paint on some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
like
I
the
don't think
the
there's any
good
problem with
list was
that.
triple Castellan, double Repex, usually not triple. So that's,
Yeah.
50
I've
points
seen
you
some
gotta
Sword
pick out.
Brethren lists popping up now, or not Sword Brethren, Crusader spam lists popping up again, with playing like 30, like 40 to 60 of those with like the crit fives and potentially lethal hits and all that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of interesting in Gladius spaces still. Yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with Black Templars right now. They seem totally fine. They're just
Yep.
they're not Shadow Martellon, they're not New Blood Angels, and they're not Ultramarines. So are they that interesting?
Yeah, and they were sitting at, like, a perfectly fine win rate. They're at a 50% win rate. They'd won 2 events. They had a .87 over rep. Like, they're
Yeah.
fine. I don't think they
Internal
really
balance
needed
changes
to get
seem fine in
hit,
that context,
but
but yeah, I think just the
it's
Rep exchange would have been enough in the points increase category. I don't think
I
anything else
agree.
really needed to
Uh,
happen.
like, the Castellan, Marshall Sword Brethren combo it hits hard, but it's perfectly fair.
Very, very fragile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunch of, 3 wound T4 3 up save models, which in the meta of trying to kill Victrix Guard is very easy to kill.
Yeah, 100%.
All
All
right.
right, next up is Blood Angels.
Yeah, Blood Angels.
10 points off the Sanguinor. No other changes.
Didn't really need any other changes. Like, they were doing quite well.
Yeah.
All told. I think they were like, yeah, they were sitting at a 48% win rate. They'd won 3 events. They were a little low on the over rep, but they're also one of the more played factions. They're in the high 3% representation. Like, for a non-codex compliant Marine chapter, they're, a little bit of love, but they also just got a brand new detachment, which is quite good.
Quite good, yeah.
Gives a lot of love to those Death Company that haven't been seeing a ton of the table. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they're not Ultramarines. They're probably sitting in that space with like Dark Angels and Black Templars and Space Wolves, and as being like, there are reasons to play all of these, but they are not Ultramarines.
Yep.
All right, next up we have CK Chaos Knights.
No, demons.
Oh, Chaos Demons. Chaos Demons still exist.
Chaos Demons still exist. Someone was pointing out to me this morning that they don't have an entry in the balance data slate. They actually haven't had an entry in the balance data slate for several updates now. They just put everything, ever since they did the whole faction pack thing, because demons are still an index, and I guess are going to be an index for the rest of the edition. Everything's just in there. So the major changes to demons is both Kairos and the Lord of Change are now flat 3 damage when they overcharge instead of D3 damage. That is
On their big gun only for the Lord of Change.
on their big gun only. But that's the only one you have the option to overcharge.
Yep.
Which is real good.
It's a lot of damage output and a lot of consistency for a data sheet that is sustained hits D3 or indirecting with D6 plus or D3 plus 6 shots are very inconsistent. Is Kairos flat 9 now?
Kairos is flat 9.
They changed Kairos' gun as well. Kairos' gun is currently D3 plus 6 shots when it overcharges. And if they didn't change that, I think it's...
it is D3 plus 6.
Yeah. Kairos' gun is
I'm used to
Alice
always rolling 6s on it, so...
There you go. Yeah, it's D3 plus 6 shots blast on Kairos. The Lord of Change is not blast.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Kairos lost a point of AP. So he's no longer AP3 on his indirect, which is good, frankly. There are still ways to get it to AP3 with Pyrogenesis or the Incursion strategy for +1 AP. It's for the best that it's not all of the time. AP potentially AP4.
Yeah, and with it being flat 3 damage, I'll take that trade. He went up 15 points as a result, and the Lord of Change went up 10.
Yeah, I don't think either of those.
And then Rodicus went up 15 points. Ben Urich, I hold you personally responsible for this because Bjorn had stopped playing him.
I think Rodicus was just too cheap to begin with. 250.
It probably was. Shalaxi goes down 40 points, which is...
So she's still only 340 points now?
Yeah, she's still quite expensive.
She's now the same points as Fulcrum.
Hey, you can bring both of them for 680 now.
She does a lot more damage than Fulcrum.
She does, unfortunately. And then the other major change is that the Endless Gift is now a 5-up Feel No Pain instead of a 4-up Feel No Pain in Shadows, which is always...
It's a big change, yeah.
It's a very big change, but I think it's for the best. The Endless Gift was never fun to play against.
No, it was miserable.
Because some armies could deal with it by just dumping damage into it.
Vindicator, until it stops breathing, yeah.
And then other armies were like, I just ignore you and I kill everything.
You still have to hand it 60 damage worth of saves on average to kill it. That is a lot of damage to do to toughness 13. The fact that it is no longer 80 It's probably fine.
Yeah,
Just
I think that it's perfectly fair.
I think it's okay that the Great and Clean One has to play with like a modicum of respect in a couple of matchups, as
Can't just
opposed to
shove
just
it on
being
the
able to
middle and say
T-pose
I
on the middle
live.
and maybe still be there at the end. I think it's fine.
Yeah, still have your heal and all that. And then as a result, the endless gift also went down 15 points. So basically, if you were running like 5 or 6 bigs before, one of them being Kairos and one of the or not even Kairos, but the Lord with the staff,
Yep.
and you were running the endless gift go, your list is net neutral.
Yeah, I think Chris Langton's list goes up like 5 to 10 points or something like that. And you
Yeah.
just like change a chaff
Like
unit
this
and
the
you
scintillating
file
list that was running Kairos and 2 lords goes up 35 points, but it also got incredibly better.
Yeah, like those it's worth remembering as well. The Lord of Change's gun says 9-2-3 on it, but really it's 10-2-3 because the Lord of Change itself has a +1 strength aura. Everstave gives another +2 strength, and Pyrogenesis strategy gives another +3 strength and +1 AP. There are lots of ways to stack buffs on these guys, and they're very frequently sustained hits D3 or ignoring cover, depending on what they want. There
Yeah.
are also the fact that you have like much less volatility with things like flux tokens. You don't have to reroll damages at all or anything like that, right? You can just be damage 3 now. So it gives
Yep.
you a lot more. You're much less likely to randomly scam yourself on a squad of 5 intercessors that you really needed dead because you rolled low on damage, and then you have to hand your opponents a flux token, and then the thing you tried to kill doesn't die now. You're just like, no, they're just dead,
Yep.
and we just move on with our lives. They also buffed the range on the little gun to 18, which is a really big deal.
Yes, they're both 18 now, right?
Yes, the Lord of Change has just 15 shots at strength 9 or 10 at 18-inch range.
Which makes
Now,
the Infernal Puppeteer hilarious.
yeah, 18 range is not crazy, but 18 range is quite far. Especially when you're potentially playing inside like a Be'lakor aura. If you can kill the thing that was in 18 of you and then move block the next thing with Screamers, Horrors, Plague Bearers, Nurglings, Beasts of Nurgle, whatever tool you want, you can stop a lot of interaction back through Be'lakor. And then when you stack on top of that, potentially you can have reroll ones going all in. I know that right now the list that I'm fooling about is 4 Bards, Be'lakor, and like 7 Chaff units.
I like it.
It's just like maximum damage, just guns.
Yep. No, I mean that's very solid. So yeah, demons, I would say winners here, even though, endless gift, rest and piss, because
Rest in pus, I think, is the technical.
there we go. All right, then we're on to CK.
All right. CK, Despoiler plus 15, no other changes?
Desecrator went down
sure.
10 and the Ruinator went down 20.
No other changes. Got it.
Yeah. Eh.
Cut a Nurgling squad
Yeah.
from your 3 bigs list and move on with your life.
Yeah.
Cut Rodriguez because
All
you
it really
don't need
means
him.
is if you're running 3-6, you can't do that anymore. You do 3-5 and demons.
Yep. That demon spot in team is going to be a lot more competitive now.
Yes, it will.
So, yeah. I think this was nowhere near enough of a change for the spoilers, but
No, that list still is a point and click delete. Can
and
we just get rid of the double gat?
with Eldar and Admech and Sisters all getting worse, certainly I don't feel great
Yeah.
about my matchup into Chaos Knights anymore with a lot of those armies. Certainly Eldar just gets rolled by this now, right? You just get like rickrolled.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that Chaos Knights were sitting at a 50% win rate and had only won 3 events. Now, again, that's because
they had ruined every other one.
yeah, their worst enemies were just like no. But don't do the math on double gat into Victrix.
It hurts in your soul, yes.
It's painful. And yes,
like 2,
chat, we're going to continue complaining about Victrix all around.
I'm really
cast
doing my
away.
best not to bring it up every single time we talk about a data sheet, but it's hard not to.
It's always the comparison you have to make. All right, we're into Chaos Space Marines.
Bile plus
3
15?
changes. Bile at 15. The Chaos Lord went down, and Terminator Armor went down 10, and the Forge Fiends went down 10.
I still don't like
that feels like a targeted Liam nerf.
To be fair, they did buff Bile last patch by letting him stand
did.
back up at the end of the phase. And I was very surprised when I found out he was 85 points. He is a lot of data sheet for 85 points.
He's a very good data sheet for 85 points. He's now 100, perfectly fair.
Yeah, I have broadly no issues with that change.
No, the 10-point discount on Forge Fiends. I know in the back channel, Goonhammer, a lot of people were super, and by a lot of people I mean Rob Jones, were really excited about this.
I think that there's a world you could maybe try playing 1 in Renegade Raiders if the metagame gets blasty.
Yeah,
but yeah, nah, not that big. I don't think much changes for Chaos Space Marines here.
Yep. No changes to that. Dark Angels.
Dark Angels got kind of taken out back a little bit, right?
No,
I feel like Dark Angels got nerfed harder than Ultramarines did.
no, actually. Dark Angels, I would say, actually got a net buff. So Azra went up 10 points. Sure, he's in every list. That's fine. Black Knights went down 10 points for 3 and 20 points for 6. So they're now 160 points for 6 of them. That actually feels really good. Jesper's list takes a big buff out of that. I think it gains 50 points net.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm going to be putting Black Knights on the table again. So
yeah, I don't know. I felt like with the Vanguard Veteran nerfs and the Centurion Devastator nerfs, it was a big nerf to like the Wrath of the Rock style. But
yeah, I get that list goes up about 40 or 50 points. It's not like it hurts for sure. Yeah, because if you're looking at, for example, Kyle McCord's list from Worlds, he was top 16. He had 2 units of Van Vets, 2 units of Centurions, and then
Centurions,
and then Azrael. So it was a 10, 30, 40 point nerf.
Yeah. It's about as much as Ultramarines got.
That's not true.
It is.
But
it genuinely is.
Fair. Yeah, and Dark Angels were doing fine beforehand. So, like I said, they had one person in the top 16 to Worlds. They were sitting at like a 49% win rate. They'd won 3 events, a 0.82 over up. Like they were fine. Kit Smith's hilarious 10 hull list.
Yeah, it doesn't
is
change.
Unchanged. Basically, you get rid of the 4-up Feel No Pain on the lieutenant, who has a 5-up Feel No Pain base. Death Guard. No notes.
None needed, right? I feel like
they got the Land Raider decrease that everyone else got in the last update that I guess they were too afraid to do in this one. And then Rodriguez went up 50. So
I just don't think Death Guard needed changes. It's like I know I whinged about it last Dataslate of like the next Dataslate. I'm looking forward to the next Death Guard nerfs, but I think Death Guard landed.
I think at the end of the day, like because we both had said that, and I said it a few times later on. We were wrong. They actually 100%. Settled into a perfectly fair spot.
I still think Death Stride are a little too easy to charge with, and I think their mechanics should be different. But I'm like ultimately they're not putting out results. There's some cool builds like Nassim's Blightlord Terminator's build.
Yeah, like make it 7 just so you have Nurgle's number, and I think we can kind of settle on Death Shroud.
I wish it was +3 to charge when they deep strike if the target's in contagion range, but so they would still manage deep strike, but they got +3 to charge. I think that would be much. I would much prefer that. But
yeah, I could see that.
It feels like they're very reticent to change things printed in books now. So
yeah, that's fair. All right, Death Watch.
Indomitor kill teams +15.
Yeah, and that's it.
Move on with our lives. Death Watch is still kind of. Death Watch is doing fine, right? Like Death Watch, we're doing well on our stats. We had them in the top 5, like based on the last 3 weeks. They are
almost no one plays them, but
fine.
Yeah, they're less than 1% of the meta. They've still won 1 event. They have a 1.06 over up and a 52% win rate. So
Fortress kill teams get a lot worse when
like 30 points, I think, because you're running 2 Indomitor teams.
Yeah. Certainly, it's a little sad to not get to play a bunch of Fortress kill teams and kill the other players, because the other players already died.
Yep. All right, Drukari. Ravagers went down 5 points, and the 6 model Reaver squad went up 10. So it's you don't get a discount with 6 of them anymore.
Good.
Which is,
and they let Hands of the Archon split with the Venom,
which is fine because the Hand of the Archon is just a Cabalite unit.
Is it any good? Does it do anything?
Its datasheet rule is you basically choose an objective and it gets a 5-up invuln and OC3 on that if it's not battle shocked.
Got it.
The funny discussion now is, well, now you have 2/5 and they both have the rule, but the one in the transport can't choose an objective because
does it get the other guy's rule if they picked it?
Different unit. So that's definitely one of those.
The transport liminal space.
Can we errata that real quick?
I hate transport so much.
Transport liminal space was something that I get coming out of 9th. We were they were a little scared of doing anything with it, maybe. But at this point, I don't think anything would really break if we just let transport rules exist inside of transports, especially things like choose an objective.
Certainly, like not giving units the fire and deck ability of the number of people who tried to take like reroll ones on Retributor fire and deck rhinos, but like no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, but that's because the rhinos equipped with the weapon. Like that's fine. Firing deck is actually very well written for restricting that kind of thing.
Now,
yes,
yeah. Spectacle spike catches no changes. I think Spectacle is still good. Like basically no changes. You didn't have to play 6s of Reavers.
Yeah, and
I
in
don't think
fact, a lot of
anything.
them had been moving away from the 6s anyways because they were a little bit ungainly.
Yeah, and I think they make out fine. I think Drakari land in an interesting spot. I
Yeah.
certainly do not love the Sinling Legion changes as a Drakari player. Holy crap, is that
It's
detachment evil to play against for
fine. Don't
Drakari?
worry about it.
I'm gonna charge you into shooting phase. Anyway, sick. Shoot you at my feet? Thanks.
Yeah, you're not in combat.
Yeah, you're actually just stood there. Fuck off and die.
That stratagem, the first time anyone experiences it, is a mindfuck. For those
Every
that aren't
single
aware,
thing
Scintillating
Scintillating Legion
Legion, one of
does is
their
a
key
mindfuck.
stratagems is you can point at a unit and say, that's not an engagement range.
They can also
And then
teleport
just,
out of engaged range and get line of sight to you without it being indirect. Yeah, so I think if demons are coming back and coming out in a big way, that's tough for Drakari. So we shall
yeah,
see.
100%. Emperor's Children. All right. In terms of rules changes, Rapid Evisceration, which is their transport rule detachment, now gets the rerolls on the transport models themselves. So, for example, Firing Deck with Rhinos, and I guess Land Raiders technically exist. They get the rerolls to hit and wound of once, which
It's
is
certainly fine for
it's a nice
rhinos,
buff. I mean, Rapid
but you have to
Evisceration
play
still,
rapid evisceration.
yeah, that's kind of the problem. And then in terms of points, they got a bunch of decreases, none of which we actually care about. And then the Demon Prince of Slanesh with Wings went up 15 points.
I think the spawn score going down 10 makes them a lot more compelling. 70 points for that unit is you get a decent amount of beef for
They
70
do
points.
they do make for a nice early trade piece now.
Yeah,
And
especially if you're
then
like just point short for that second tormentor squad or something like that. You don't just want to take a solo cacophonist. 2 spawn is the same points as a solo cacophonist now, but takes up a lot more space and has some engaging gameplay with reactive moves.
yeah, and also gives you that early scoring potential without risking giving up assassination or something like that.
It's also nice in the like the coterie space of you can do the whole I'm going to put this unit out. If you want to engage with the middle objective for any reason, you must give me reactive back, and then that's a thing I can kill for coterie points, right? Which is a nice little dynamic you can kind of chase on.
Yeah, and in terms of the other points changes, the cast armies went down 15 points, and now 155 for 5. The footprints went down 15 to
I like the
180.
footprints a lot.
I do too. And then the keeper went down 30 and Shalaxi went down 40 in line
They're
with the
bad.
demons changes. Shalaxi in Carnival
She's
is
340 points.
no, I know. Let me dream that maybe I can put my beautiful creature caster model on the table someday.
It's nice that the 50 points came down for the footprints because you love the footprints in Court of the Phoenician for that detachment. The footprints is
Yes.
very
Oh,
good.
he is him with the enhancement and just in general is he's terrifying.
He's kind of a beast. I accidentally killed him with a Death Company Dreadnought today. Warhammer's
Yes.
easy. All
Gene
right.
Stealer Cult.
Genestealer Cult did not even get a mention in the article.
Nope. No changes whatsoever. Which you know what? That's perfectly fair. They were number 4 in terms of win rate over the last 2 months. 53.6% win rate, but a big fat goose egg when it came to event wins and a 0.94 over rep. So
Utterly
fine.
sauceless Codex.
Given they were sitting at like a 60+% win rate before you factored out
I understand.
post.
I understand the Games Workshop have decided that they can't balance Genestealer Cult, so just leave them alone.
Yeah,
that's
just
fine.
that. You know what?
Fine.
Don't touch
It's
them.
fine. It's fine.
Grey Knights. Purgation
Minor
Squad went
points
down
changes. Yeah.
2 points a model. I don't remember what the Purgation Squad does.
They make you -2 to move and charge when they shoot you.
Cool.
It stacks with the -2 to charge and Warpbane, which is kind
Okay,
of
that's
funny.
funny.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking annoying actually. They're like, you get shot and they're like, so that's -6, so you can't make it to me.
I'm gonna ingress. No, you're not.
Yeah, so I actually think the like the 70 build is playing like 30 purifiers, 10 strikes, 10 purgations, 20 interceptors actually gets a decent chunk of points out of this because interceptors came
Yeah.
down as well. Which yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I think Grey Knights again fit in that space of like they're fine, and a bunch of the stuff at the top end got haircut, and I think they get a lot more interesting with that context.
Yeah. Grey Knights had won 3 events, 49% win rate, 0.69 over rep. So
Yep,
just
it's
fine.
okay. They didn't need NDK buffs.
Mhm.
It is again a boring as shit detachment rule and army, but the power is there.
It's true. Imperial Knights,
Nothing of consequence,
all the
but
bigs went down 10.
all the
Doesn't
bad
matter.
bigs went down 10.
Like, genuinely doesn't matter. Might help you fit in an enhancement you didn't have before. But
Yeah. The Defender and the Crusader are the most interesting of that set. The Warden is not bad. You get like 20 points in the Spearhead at arms list. Spearhead's still probably the best way to play the army. It's still not.
Oh, sorry, not all the bigs. The Paladin and Preceptor didn't go down 10.
Yeah, and neither did the Castellan or Valiant.
Yeah.
I really feel like the Valiant could have gone down 10 and no one would
probably.
Have would you have noticed if what if the Megara had gone down 10, Jeremy? Would you have been like, oh man, that's getting too close to good on the Megara?
No.
I feel like
this
if you
isn't
go
9th edition, the Megara data sheet's just sad now.
I feel like when you're going through the big nights, if you're Games Workshop, you could just be like, hey, I'm going to call out a list of all of their data sheets, and if you could tell me what their rules are, then we don't nerf it. And you would get like 75% of them in every pass. Be like, what does the Megara do? Don't know, -10. What does the Styrex do? Don't know. Cool, -10, right? Like, I think you'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. Votan. I mean, I'm kind of happy with this. Arcanus went down 10. Bury went down 15, so he's now 85 points for Lone Op. And then Steeljax went down a point 5 points for 3, 10 points for 6. And the Sagittarius went down 5 points. And then if you were playing Brandfast, you're very annoyed because the only enhancement that was worth taking went up 10 points.
The sustained hits 2-1, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, Votan, we're playing perfectly fair Warhammer, as we've kind of mentioned multiple times. And they're going to continue playing perfectly fair Warhammer.
The thing I like about this is there's no real meaningful changes to the Delve list, which is nice because the Delve list was definitely the one that was proving the most powerful, and this gives a few of the other detachments a bit more space to play, right?
It's really funny because Delve wasn't really doing that well.
No, but it was definitely, I think it was the best of them, right? It was the one that was doing.
It was the one that I definitely am pushing towards the most. The one that's doing the best right now is Hearthband, and that one also didn't change.
The call came down, right? You play a call in that.
Yeah, sure, but like it's not like a 5-point change isn't going to.
I think the 6 of melee Steeljax is quite good in that detachment as well, right? With the 6 of Poly Consolidate.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if there's always the room for it.
No, that's fair.
But maybe you're shuffling things around a little bit to accommodate that.
Yeah, I could see
leagues is fine. They were fine before. They had won a couple events. They're sitting at like a 50% win rate. They're sitting like dead middle of the pack, so they didn't really need any major changes. And yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. Necrons. Nothing.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm just glad they didn't buff Wraiths again.
There's still 12 in every Star Shatter list I play into, and I'm tired.
Every day the Necrons don't. Did we skip Orcs, or is Orcs not nice alphabet?
Orcs is after Necrons.
I'm just reading Goonhammer called me have it in the wrong order. Fuck's sake. I don't know the alphabet, so
that's fine.
No changes to Necron.
The British education system.
I don't know the alphabet. I don't need to know the alphabet. No changes to Necrons. Necrons were fine. Necrons are getting the 500 Worlds supplement and a new character pretty soon. So, or assumedly pretty soon. So I think it's okay for Necrons to just be like, leave them where they are. They're doing okay. Nothing has to go crazy.
Yep. Orcs also no changes.
I know Brian's been a little whingy about Orcs recently, but I think they're in an okay spot.
All told right now, Orcs have been sitting. I mean, Orcs are above Tyranids and Votan. They've won a couple events, a 50% win rate and a 0.8 overrep. Like, by all of our metrics, they didn't need more.
What more could you ask for? Yeah. I think people are getting used to playing against the Gazbrick, which doesn't help, but it's still an incredibly powerful.
It's still a really good unit.
Yeah, like I have to assume if we broke out armies by win rate, Orcs army win rate on Search and Destroy must be one of the highest in the game. If we did it via deployment type.
All right, elephant in the room: Space Marines.
So first of all, there's a new Assault Terminator data sheet. Lightning Claws gained an attack. The Thunderhammer hits on 3s now, and their Battle Shock is just the start of the fight phase now, not if they made a charge. So all good.
Well, changes. And interestingly enough, it's because before it was
a unit
you finished the charge.
Yeah.
Now it's the start of the fight phase. So there's and yes, it's every phase now, but because of that slight timing change, it also means you can't use something to unbattle shock at the start of the fight phase that you would have been able to use otherwise.
Yeah, broadly,
like a chaplain ability or something similar. You can't use that now because you were.
I have been asked about the 10-man with Lightning Claws and a chaplain in Blood Angels, and by God, do I want to see someone else play that? But I'm not going to do
it. It's still what, 360 points?
I think it's 380.
Terminator Assault Squad. 360. 38. It's 360 for 10.
Oh, it's 180, 360. Okay. I still think it's way too much. I think 360
Yeah.
is an absurd amount of money for that point.
And like
for
the
that.
hammers hit on 3s now, so yay.
Yeah. I think it's actually more interesting for Hammer Reverting than Blood Angels, but there is lots of. I still don't think I would like it in Hammer Reverting very much. Okay, then we got some points changes to generic stuff.
Yeah. So kind of go by, I guess, kind of major build right now. So the Shadowmark Talon list got absolutely annihilated. Sean went up 25. 6 men Centurions went up 20. The 3 men went up 10. Van Vets went up 5 for 5 and 10 for 10. And then also Hunter's Instincts in Shadowmark only is now your movement phase locked, which means that you can't use it to ingress turn 1.
Good.
Notably, the Stormlance enhancement that is mounted locked, you can still do this with.
Oh no, for all of my fucking
It's basically
Outriders.
just Dark Angels that can use it now.
For all my Outriders. Oh no, what a shame.
No, those Black Knights that got cheaper.
I don't care. Until someone besides Jesper plays it and wins a game with it, I don't believe it.
And then there were some like untaken data sheets that went down. The Lieutenant went down 10. He's now 55 points. Cool.
Why not Lieutenant with combi weapon, man? He's unplayable.
Seriously, he should be 55 points.
Why is he not gone up in the last 3 years?
I don't know. They're still trying to sell through their backlog of the Heroes of the Chapter or whatever it is that you have to buy to get him.
Corsaro Khan came down 10.
Cool. Aggressors went down 5 and 10.
He's now
to
the
3 and
cheapest
6.
scoring unit in White Scars Gladiators if you just need a chaff unit.
Oh, pain. And then Eradicators went down 10 and 20. Kato, the new one, went down 25. And for some reason, the old one still exists.
Yep. And then
me not.
Vitrix Guard went up 30 points for the 6-man squad and came down 10 for the 3-man squad.
Yeah, so there's now no discount or extra cost either way.
Like, I know I called for it. I called for it to be like, no, don't put a discount. But I was like 132.60 minimum. 132.60 would have been fine.
And they went, how about 122.40?
I don't get it. Willow, we always want stuff to go to.
Especially in Marines.
We're strong
Marines specifically just has
everything.
way too many data sheets.
I'm a strong advocate of there being like 6 legal data sheets per faction.
Can we have a ban list for competitive play?
Right now. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm advocating for at the moment. So you're not going to.
Oh, and sorry, the Stormspeeder Thunderstrike went down 15 points, which
is crazy because it's good.
It is. It was showing up in most of my lists already.
I think it goes in Dark Angels list pretty comfortably now, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, 135. Like, you don't need the +1 to wound in Ultramarines, but I just don't get it. I don't get why Vitrix Guard. This is what they should have been to start with, and then been nerfed 40 points from here.
Yeah, like I think 132.60. I think most people would still take them at 142.80.
I think 142.80 would be where I'm like, maybe 9 is fine. I don't understand why this data sheet exists in the way it does with the combination of things it does, while also Ultramarines retain the +1 to wound from Oath.
Yeah, no, the +1 to wound just needs to go away.
Yep, it doesn't even need to be on fucking White Scars. They don't need it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone needs it anymore, with all the updates that they've got that each of the Codex Implant chapters have gotten.
Shadowmark certainly didn't need it. It might now, to be fair.
Poor Pumbaa.
Shadowmark, what a garbage attachment now. I don't want this to just be us being mad about Vitrix Guard crashing out, because
no,
there's so
I
much
do
more
like
going
that they
on
took some of like the lesser taken units like Aggressors and Eradicators and dropped them.
Yeah, look, they are no longer
very curious now to go.
Yeah.
I'm curious now to go look at like 2 years ago the Gladius Dark Angels list and see how many points that now is.
It would make me sad. I mean, it's probably this is what they were at the time, but they got nerfed because of Bolt of Discipline, then Bolt of Discipline got nerfed, and then Bolt of Discipline got removed, and then they stayed the same points for ages. That's kind of
that's fair.
I think there's an interesting argument here. I quite like a 6 of Eradicators in the Ultramarine Gladius list now, because you can give them Defect of Ventress if you don't want it on a Vitrix Guard squad, and you can just slam down 6 Aggressors to go and kill a transport or a problem. And I think that's kind of interesting. Is that the place I would like the game to be getting more interesting? No, I'm not convinced that more options for Ultras Gladius is the best way for us to be pushing the game.
Yeah, given that it had like a 60-ish% win rate the last 3 weeks.
63 for Blade, 61 for Gladius is what we had.
Yeah. It's painful.
Yeah, look, I would not be opposed to going to an event that was just like no Victory Card. Like if I was just like an event, if I was going to an event that was just like no Victory Card or only 3-mans, right? Like something in that space, I'd be like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think most of the community would be perfectly fine with that, unless you were like a diehard Ultramarines player.
Now, the one thing I will to put something resembling a productive way to think about this, the rest of the metagame got a lot weaker in general. For most armies, Eldar, Chaos Knights, Admech, Sisters all took pretty serious haircuts in some capacity, right? Chaos Knights are losing a scoring unit or, some more. Eldar are bleeding out in the back. They're living out their Ryan Reynolds bleeding out in the slow male fantasy. Sisters lost 100 to 150 points, and Admech lost about 150 to 200 points. You can skew a lot harder for just Victrix now because they are the single biggest predator in the metagame, and they are probably one of the other two biggest predators. I think for me, the top three armies right now are Victrix Guard, Victrix Guard, Victrix Guard, and then Admech and Grizzled Company in some order.
Yeah,
And I
I'd
think
agree.
it's much easier to skew for that metagame to be like, all I have to do is bring stuff that kills Victrix Guard. And that's the thing you can do now. You can do that more. And you probably should do that more. You should probably make Victrix Guard players suffer for bringing Victrix Guard. Bring stuff that can handle blood surges. Bring stuff that can handle reactive moves. Bring stuff that's damage 4. And just fucking kill them. Because that's the only way you're going to win tournaments right now. Sorry, I will be 1 second.
Yep. Well, while Ennis is gone, I may as well cover Space Wolves because he's not going to care about them. So Space Wolves got some slight buffs. Bjorn went down 10 points. Grey Hunters went down 15 for 10. The Iron Priest went down 5. Murderfang went down 10. And the Venerable Dreadnought went down 10. No real changes to current Space Wolf builds, especially the California Cup winning Michael Mann list. Basically remains unchanged. It's still really good, and you don't really change too much. Grey Hunters get kind of interesting, but I still think they're probably too expensive.
Grey Hunters suck so much. Why do they only come in 10-mans?
Because they're OC3, right?
Uh-huh.
Remember how much people were crashing out about that?
That was one of the funniest crash outs of my life. Hey, is this tactical marine that doesn't stick? Is this intercessor that doesn't sticky? That's OC3 gonna break the? No,
it's really not.
No. I'm still kind of sad 100 Blood Claws never took off, but
yeah, I think they don't want to risk that. I think they're fine.
I like the Bjorn discount. Is it worth really quickly talking about the new Wolves detachment, or do we want to just leave that since it's kind of beyond the scope of?
I think it's kind of beyond the scope. You've kind of done videos for most of the other detachments.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing one until I'm back to the States next week, but
which people go check that out when he's back. If not, there's
I'm back from the States for 3 days and then I go to Prague for a week, so I might have time to record videos. I might not.
If you don't, there's lots of other deep dives about those.
There's also like 6 other hosts on StatCheck. Anyone
we could, yeah. That is always an option. I don't care about wolves, so no.
I'm kidding. Yeah, so I think the Wolves detachment is kind of interesting. I don't think it meaningfully improves on the.
Is it better than Gladius or Stormlance? Is basically the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Saga the Beast Slayer.
There is some cool stuff with like 30 Terminators that you can do in that detachment that's a little more interesting, but and it actually has AOC, which is nice for a Space Wolves specific detachment. But
yeah, and then the other thing is that I think this made me laugh more than anything else. Is that it allows you to attach a Space Wolves character to regular Terminators?
Yes, which again, why are Games Workshop doing this? They've done this with Court of the Phoenician. They've done this now. Why are they printing detachments to fix datasheet issues? Just let them be joined as if they were regular units. Why can that not just be on the Space Wolf datasheet? Why does that have to be an enhancement, wasting space in a detachment that would otherwise be a lot cooler?
Yeah.
They've done this, and why can Fulgrim not just go through fucking walls like an Imperial Knight? Actually, why can Imperial Knights do it in the fucking first place? I hate this method of balancing. It feels to me like they're refusing to change stuff that's printed in books right now. Because they're just like, well, we're not going to change we're not like we're going to release Nightmare Hunt because we don't want to change Dread Talons. People have
But
got the
it's
Dread
just
Talons.
Dread Talons 2.0.
Exactly. Like, just update Dread Talons. Why do we need another detachment for this shit?
I mean, we also have 3 first company detachments now.
Yes, I'm fully aware. And now
I'm glad no
a
ink
new
was
Wolves
wasted on the
Gladius.
second and third ones.
At least Hammer of Averni's interesting. It changed the
Sure.
formula enough. It was like we can add dreadnoughts to some of the stratagems to like change something out. Like it's actually almost there, right? I think Hammer of Averni's actually kind of cool.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, but and then the Eldar book just got a bunch of stuff happen to it. Frankly, I think a bunch of that could have just been game-wide stuff. You can't re-embark and transport side phase. Stop it.
Yeah. But yeah, the Space Wolves detachment is like it's pretty solid. And Logan was already in every Space Wolves list anyway, so the benefit that he gives the detachment
Yeah,
is really
being able
good.
to double use army-wide sustained lethal for a turn, army-wide sustained lethal for a turn is pretty good.
Yep.
Run a Wolf and Dreadnought for that +1 to charge. Hit your inches from deep strike. Don't be a coward.
I like this.
All right, who's up next?
Tau.
Sick. Please tell me Riptide's lost like a point of damage. That's what I want.
No, but Riptides went up 10 points.
10 whole.
Yeah, they're now 200 points. I still love. Remember way back in the day when Chapter Approved was a thing, and Riptides like went up a point.
Yeah, because they were like 179 or 214.
Then they went to like 180 or something like that. It was up or down like 1 point. We all looked at that and went, okay, someone in the studio did not like the look of an odd number, but still.
Yeah, because it was like 7 points per model for their missile drones that you had to have or something like that. Yeah.
Skyrays also went up 10. Stormtroopers went down 40.
Does the Stormtroopers do anything? I read that data sheet and got bored.
No, not really. It's basically 1.5 Riptides, but for like twice the cost.
I vaguely recall trying to test it right when the edition dropped, rapid ingressing next to stealth suits so they could stand still and get heavy, and then it would hit on 2s with its guns and it could one-shot a Riptide or a Wraith Knight. I vaguely recall that being a thing we looked at for a while.
Cool. Except
It doesn't
ingressing,
seem
doesn't
like
the Wraith Knight just kill you?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at its guns and I don't think it does that.
Maybe in the index it was better.
It can't have been much worse. Wow, this thing sucks.
Yeah. Breachers went down 10. That's actually kind of nice. Breachers are, one of the bread and butter units in pretty much every Tau list. And strikes went down 5.
Yeah. People are going to whinge about the 5-man stealth teams. I don't care. I really just don't care.
These kind of data sheet reworks have happened to many things. The fact that you have a data sheet that gives you
3-man Raveners
ones to hit and wound.
Yep. 110 points feels like that. I've honestly, if they had made the 3-man squad 110 points and taken away its ability to fall back and guide, I would have been like, yeah, that's probably reasonable nerfs. They gave you 2 extra models on top of that. So chill your jets. I do not care.
Yep.
It can guide in combat now. It couldn't do that before.
Sure. Thousand Suns. A whole slew of like minor point decreases, which, given where Thousand Suns are at right now, feels real good.
Feels real close to the edge.
Yeah, Thousand Suns were on like the tipping point. They were just below Marines in terms of win rate. They had a 1.26 over up and 2 event wins. Like they had less than 2% of the meta. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, so what are we looking at here? Predator Destructor, Forge Fiend, and Mauler Fiend all down 10.
So
Vortex
Beast
down
take,
5. Rubric Marines down 5. Sorcerer down 5. Zangor Lightning down 10 for 3. Makes me mad. Bow Zangor down 5 for 3. Makes me mad. Kairos plus 25 and plus 20. And
they just basically made it so you're not paying extra for the 3s.
Yeah, but you should have been paying extra for the 3s because those were the good ones.
For the Enlightened, yes. For the bows, no. But I mean, neither of them are particularly that great. They were just, criminally under. The bows were criminally undercosted for way too long when they were 55. When they were like 5580. And then Kairos and Lord of Change both got the changes that the demons did, so they went up slightly. Fine. Change Host is an absolutely cracked detachment now because one of the changes that they got is that
holy shit, do its strats all suck. actual donkey.
Sure, but the thing is that now you can give Kairos full rerolls with his indirect.
I just don't think that matters that much when you have to play
And
fucking
plus 2
change
AP.
host stratagems. Have you read Change Host?
I have. Trust me. I was reading through it and I went,
Oh wow, these are awful, right?
yep.
I mean, let
And
me
the
just run you
enhancements
through
aren't much better.
load up 18, -1 to hit, shoot in engagement range for a Thousand Suns unit, -2 to charge, a reactive move, and go back in reserve for 1 monster. And then the enhancements are Donkey Water. Like, what are we doing, bro? Grand Coven is right there. Just
Yeah.
play that.
Or I could play Hex Warp.
Yeah, you can play Hexor with like 7 Mutilate Vortex Beasts and Forge Fiends and
Actually, no. If you really want to have fun, play the vehicle detachment because you can fit like 11 hulls.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you can fit like 3 Predators, 3 Forge Fiends, 2 Vortex Beasts, and like 2 Squads
6
of
Predators.
or 6. Sure, you could do that.
Because this is the thing. The Destructor rule in T-Suns is after you've been hit by a psychic weapon, it gets +1 strength and AP against you. It's not just against like infantry or anything. It's just get hit with a psychic weapon and then
My last cannons are strength 13.
and my autocannons are strength 10, AP 5 because I gave it +2 AP.
AP 4, right? Or are they 2 base?
I don't know what they are anymore.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think the 30 Rubric's build, 30 Rubric Terminator build is still fine. It's still just there and playable and present.
Yeah, it basically didn't change. Rubric Marines went down 5 points for 5, so you get a little bit of wiggle room there.
Yep.
And your chaff got easier to put in because you have a 45-point scoring unit again in the form of the Enlightened. So yeah, it's T-Suns are going to do quite well. And then of course the big change to scintillating is that not scintillating, but to change hosts is if you were playing it, the demons all now benefit from your cabals.
And you still shouldn't play it just for what it's worth. But I really don't think you should. All right.
Tyranids.
Okay.
I know where this is going.
Nids are fine. Nids are fine. It makes me mad, but Nids are okay. Nids have 1 GTs. They've done fine. It's just Invasion Fleet. Invasion Fleet's all that exists. Stop pretending other detachments exist. They're mental disorders. Play Invasion Fleet. 5-up Feel No Pain is the only thing keeping this book together. They've got more access to 5-up Feel No Pain than Death Guard do. And really, that's keeping them going.
Yeah. Subterranean Assault exists as well.
Subterranean Assault is a detachment that you are allowed to play if you would like to lose more games than you win. Yeah.
I mean, Subterranean Assault has a higher win rate than Invasion Fleet.
What's its play rate relative?
About 4/5.
Okay, fair enough. So
yeah.
The Screamer Killer came down 10.
We have 900 games of Invasion Fleet with a 50% win rate, and we have 750 games of Subterranean Assault with a 52% win rate.
Sure. So the Screamer Killer came down 10, meaning it has now come down 65 points from where it started.
It was 190 when it came out.
190? I thought it was 180 in the Codex.
I'm pretty sure it was 190 when it first came out.
This thing is awful. It's still bad for what it's worth. I still don't think it does much.
It's got a cool flamer.
It's truly like an incredible test. Like, how cheap can we make a toughness 9-10 or toughness 9-10 wound monster with a 2-up save before it's playable as a joke? But it's still kind of a joke.
Speaking of toughness 9 2-up save, Carnifex.
And then we have the Carnifex, who is now 90 points and is genuinely probably okay at 90 points.
I mean, like 2 models with all 1-eye went down 50 points.
It disgusts me what Carnifexes are. Carnifexes should not be what they are. Why is this terrifying. A 90-point chaff unit? Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to play like two of them for 90 points in Crusher or Invasion Fleet, and they've got a Blood Surge and a 5-up Feel No Pain, and you'll run them with like double melee weapon, and they'll just like be annoying on a flank. Or you'll play a 2-man with Old 1-Eye with guns. But why is this
again
like one of the most iconic units of 40k to me? Yep. Why is this thing garbage? Why is this a chaff unit?
I don't know, because 3 Marines can kill it in Space Marine 2.
I've not played that. You're losing me on the reference. But my favorite art in all of Warhammer,
the video game Space Marine 2, he's one.
My favorite art in all of Warhammer is the Tyrannifex the Carnifex just annihilating a Rhino in combat from the like the 4th edition Tyranids Codex. My favorite piece of art in all of Warhammer. And holy shit, do I want the Carnifex to just be? Why does it hits on 4s, Jeremy?
Because it's not smart. It's a mindless beast.
So am I.
You hit on 4s, clearly.
Damn. So yeah, the state of Tyranids continues to upset me. I think Carnifexes are fine. I think Screamer Killers are probably just like okay in Subterranean Assault because their deliverability gets a lot easier. But in Invasion Fleet, I don't think I'm even sniffing them. I guess Crusher, they're probably okay as well because they actually hit on 2s. They're like OC5 until they take a damage, then they hit on 2s. Like that seems okay. But then you're playing Crusher in a world where Ultramarines exist. I've not seen. I don't think I've seen Crusher on the table since +1, 2, and Oath got printed.
Yeah. People are playing it. We had, I don't know.
But clearly not on the tables that
30
I'm
people
seeing.
play it over the last 2 months.
30 people in the last 2 months.
Yep.
That might be the same guy at 30 tournaments.
It probably not, but very close to it. Yeah. Yeah. They make up like less than they make up about 3% of Tyranids players.
The Terra players are like 4% of the meta, 5% of the meta.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't exist.
They're a rounding error.
There's still more of them than Unending Swarm players.
All right. I think we talk about the biggest injustice of this Dataslate. Holy cow. I am more mad at this than I am at Victrix Guard. What on earth happened? What did World Eaters do?
I don't know. But it wasn't that bad.
It's pretty stupidly bad.
I mean, yes, like the 50 list goes up 45, 55 points.
More than that, right? 2 Juggerlord. Oh, yeah, 50, 45. That's more than my Victrix Guard list went up.
No, I know.
My Victrix Guard list went up 40 points. It went up like 50, 60 points. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you're running the Glaive, the Helm, which if you're running the Demon Prince, you were Slaughterbound and 2 Lords, then your list did go up 65 points, which is actually more than if you were running
3. If you were playing the 60 list with 3 Juggerlords and the Glaive, and then yeah, it's the same. It's ridiculous. I have no idea why this unit needed to go up. Why this army needed to go up. It wasn't even that good.
Melody. I blame LGT where World Leaders were like 20% of the event. Yeah, and they didn't do anything.
None of them even made 5-0.
No, they actually didn't. I didn't think about that, but yeah. No, it's
my Dunehammer list got left as hard as my Celtic Cup list.
Sorry, Angon went down 20 points. Don't forget about that.
Yep. Fucking sick. I liked the rumor where he got advance in charge a lot more.
I don't know why people whatever. It's funny to see these things out in the wild and then go.
That would have been I would have much rather had advance in charge than a 20-point haircut.
I think most people would have, but it also doesn't really change him.
Make the Berserker Warband strat work on anything, not just Corn Berserkers. There'd be so many ways you could do this. I don't understand. I don't know why this needed to happen. I don't think this is a good set of changes. I don't think
World Eaters were doing fine.
Average? They were like tracking 50.
51% win rate, 9 event wins, and a 1.1 over rep. Shouldn't have changed at all.
Didn't need touched. This is a bad slate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't call this a good one in any ways. This is for factions that like should have been addressed.
Look, I'm glad Shadow Market got hit because it was bullshit to play against. Stormwind Rapid Increase is not a fun mechanic.
Yes. Especially from a unit that can advance in charge.
I'm glad Sisters, Admech got hit. And I think the Sisters nerfs were fine. I think the Admech nerfs were a little short, but could have been there.
They were still substantial, but yeah, I do agree that it could have gone farther, and Admech still would have been a perfectly fine army that could win events.
Yeah, 100%. I think outside of that, I think most of the armies that they buffed were almost pointless. It feels like they were not.
I guess Thousand Suns got buffed.
Well, like technically, Thousand Suns got buffed. Technically, they buffed Tyranids. They buffed Dark Angels. Like, it feels like none of these are created. Like, very few of these changes. They can buff Imperial Knights. It feels like none of these are creating interesting new options, right? None of these are giving you new builds to play. Now, I appreciate that a bunch of armies got Grotmus attachments right at the same time, right? And it's tough to justify buffing an army and giving them a Grotmus attachment at the same time, which is why Chaos Space Marines stuff like that. Not that I think anyone's.
CSM also didn't really need much.
No, 100%. But like,
anything?
I appreciate not buffing Guard when Grizzle Company just came out, right? Like that feels like a really dangerous line to walk. I think that one's aimed at competitively. I think maybe Space Wolves, I can see an argument that they've been like, we think that this new detachment is really good and we don't want to do anything. But I just don't get why Victrix are the way they are and why nothing was done about it. Oh, and I think the Elder buffs were like Elder nerfs were too far a little bit. Like,
I think you probably could have gone without the point changes and just stuck with the rules changes.
Yeah.
and say, stop doing this bullshit.
I think if you had just
you can
done
play with the
Lycus
same
and
points
Jane
as you
Guard,
had before.
I think even if it had just been like just Lycus and Jane's Arch points would have been fine.
But they're still
Like they
free to
were
take.
too cheap. Like yeah, it would have been fine. But like the rules changes were huge for that army.
Yeah.
And the aspect shrine token change, which I think just had to happen. I think that was a good change.
We kind of
But
saw it coming with the incubi wording, and so it was nice to see that.
I just don't understand what the direction of the game is trying to be right now. Is the answer to this game meant to be we are playing Space Marine 2? It is Victory's Guard versus the world. And you know what? If it is, I will go out there and I will build my best Ultramarines clobbering vehicle, and I will go and take it to every tournament I play out for the next 6 months. Or I'll play Victory's Guard. And I'll
Actually,
build
you know
I'll
what? You know
build
what?
the
Actually, what makes me really mad is the Emperor's Children changes.
I truly think the prince should be 260 points, so I don't care at all.
The problem is that there was nothing to there's nothing to compensate, and that's the data sheet that just works.
I think there was plenty to compensate. I think the spawn coming down, the footprints coming down are like meaningful enough that like it's fine. I think the Winged Prince should be more expensive than Fulgrim because it's better. Now we can make a decision about where Fulgrim should come down to and where the Prince should go up.
Yeah,
to.
I kind of wish that instead of printing this detachment, they just give in Fulgrim you go through walls.
But maybe like if Fulgrim was 260 and the Prince was 270, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably about right. So, but I did not say Nids are not in a good spot. I said Nids are in a completely fine spot. They are just boring as sin. That is my issue with Nids.
Yeah,
now,
and that's been your issue with them for
like
3 updates now, which is perfectly fair because that's been the case. Subterranean Assault was interesting.
Yep. And orcs, yeah, I think orcs are being propped up by the Gazbrick, 100%. I think there is a world you could make orcs feel like they do some damage, just like at all ever, or make orc shooting units a little more consistent, but not in the way that Mordaka did it, right? Like consistency does not have to mean being an exclusive play pattern.
Yeah, and like if we look at the last 3 weeks, which is basically when Victrix were introduced to the wider meta, like there were only 2 armies that were sitting outside of the balance window, and space and obviously Victrix Guard, because Marines is always going to be held down by every other detachment that's being played. But
I think you could revert the Tactical Brigade nerfs. I actually think that's probably a fair call. You could probably revert the Tactical Brigade detachment nerfs, if not the Tank Buster nerfs.
Yeah, I think you could do that easily.
Yeah. Mordaka bad thing.
But yeah, so
I think Mordaka would get clowned by Victrix Guard if that helps, though. So,
probably yeah, because most of Mordaka was like AP2.
Yep,
and not much that was anti-infantry.
Yeah. So let's put a little bit of money where our mouth is. What are going to be the top 3 armies in a month's time?
Victrix, Gladius, Gladius Space Marines or Blade of Ultramar Space Marines. I count them as one army. They're going to be probably the best army in the game right now.
I think Admech and Grizzled Company will be the other 2.
Yeah. And then after that,
Sisters probably still stay up there.
Thousand Sons.
Potentially Thousand Sons, Blood Angels. Yeah.
Because like Thousand Sons, while they haven't been winning events or seeing a lot of play, this is like a series of nothing but buffs to them and nerfs to their worst opponents.
What's going to be the best option for people who want to just counter Victrix while not playing it themselves?
Ooh, what is good into Victrix?
I think Admech maintains a reasonable matchup into them if you're especially for like 30 raw stalkers.
Yes, but only AP2 kind of hurts.
It's AP3 though, right?
Getting AP3 on Rust Stalkers is actually quite challenging.
Not if you're specifically chasing it, right? Like you can run a ranger squad with them if you want to.
Yeah, it's still challenging to keep up with them just because of how fast Rust Stalkers are.
Sure,
but
you can't do it, right? Especially in Skitarii, because you can pick up and drop the squad.
Fair. That's fair. So you can push them to AP3.
I think Admech should consider running a Calidus,
but
I think Admech could consider running a Calidus as well if you're really scared of that matchup.
True. Yeah.
It's not a thing people do traditionally, but you could definitely get away with it.
Yeah. If you really want,
I do not think Spectacle Drakari has a good Victrix Guard matchup in the slightest. That the Tusker is not a fan of Vectoras.
Yeah.
I think Signaling might have a good shout for being good into it. I actually think Signaling is an outside shout for top 5 as well.
Yeah, I could see that. It was one of those detachments that was just on the edge of like being played fairly often.
The ability to engage them from beyond their range with indirect and stuff like that is kind of interesting. The ability to teleport out of engagement range is quite nice. and having a Vector yourself is quite good. So I could see that. And I could see Kiss Space Marines maintaining their I've felt quite good about playing Kiss Space Marines into Victrix recently, so I think that could be interesting. What are going to be our worst 3 armies? Excluding Imperial Legends. It's just not worth talking about them.
I'm gonna say Imperial Knights are probably still gonna sit down there.
Yep, I think I would probably agree.
Because nothing really changed for them. I would say Emperor's Children drop down there.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just because they're not going to get the play rate of like good players innovating, because there's very little innovation in that space. Like Court of the Phoenician is interesting, but it's still worse than Coterie.
Yeah, I could see Death Guard staying down there.
Yeah.
As good as I think they are, I think Death Guard are just very fair, and this is not a metagame to be fair in.
Yeah, I could see Tau dropping down there, but it also depends on how much they continue to vent about their stealth suits being 110 points.
Good. I wish they were 130 and they came in 7-mans.
7-mans.
I wish you had
the 2x2 coherency.
Yeah, I wish you had to have 2x2 coherency, and they came in 7s, and the 2 guys were drones that didn't have rules.
Actually, no, just change the rules on drones that they're actual models that have to be placed now, so you have to use them for coherency.
All right. What army outside of Ultramarines do you think we're going to be calling for nerfs for in the next slate?
Probably Admech again.
Probably Admech again.
That's fair. And
I think it's Guard. I think Guard is the one.
I think it's going to be Guard as well. Grizzled is quite good.
I think people are going to be mad about Rough Riders and Dorns and Bulgrin and Mortars. I think Mortars are going to go to like 85 points.
I hate that Mortars are good again.
There's 2 squads in my list, and I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't get to have a home objective. Stop it. Stop trying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
all right. One last question before we'll finish up, and we'll take a couple questions from the chat. What army are you most excited about playing in this update?
Votan.
Why is that?
Because I finally have enough Berserks to play Delve.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
Delve I just built my 40th Berserk, so
that res strat, that res enhancement's so good.
It's yeah. No,
the fact that you can just my favorite thing with it is going, so that unit of guys is going to res 0 plus 0, 0, 0 guys. I have no Delve points. I stay in my rerolls. That's quite funny. And you're just like, I just don't want those points. What am I most excited to play? I'm kind of excited to try this new Blood Angel stuff. Anthony's kind of hyped me up on it. I'm also quite excited to play some Guard.
Yeah, and then secondary for that is Dark Angels, because I want to put a variant of Jasper's list on the table, because it just seems really good, and I have all the models for it.
Interested in Kit's list than Jasper's.
I put Kit's list on the table last week. It shoots
literally a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, I was showing it to. I played it. This was the game that I played into Warhost, and he was just kind of like, how do I kill you? Because he had he had the Fuegan brick, and then like 2 5-man Reapers, and he's just like, yeah, you'll kill. I'm never going to give you a split shot. You're going to kill 1 vehicle a turn. And on turn 3, I had 3 land speeders looking into his home ruin.
I can't bring myself to buy Landspeeder Vengeances.
I've had them since 8th.
No, I'm sure you
because
have.
I thought they were super cool.
You have Mr. Dark Angels server maker thing. So I refuse to buy Landspeeder Vengeances at this point in the game. I'm like, nah, they're not. I have a graveyard of Landspeeders in my card.
Trust me, I do too. Yours is slightly larger than mine because yours has Landspeeder Storms in them.
I have 4 Storms and 7 regular Landspeeders.
Oh, I have 12 regular Landspeeders. Yeah. Not counting my Talon Masters.
I have 3 Talon Masters as well. Sorry, yep, that's.
I have 4 because I had Sable Claw as well. Bring back Sable Claw. Give me a plastic model for Sable Claw.
All right, I think that is going to do it. Does anyone in chat have any questions? We can got 5 minutes or so. We can take some questions in.
I mean, we may as well answer this because it is actually a serious question, and it is perfectly topical. Completely random question. If this is from 1837 Mom. If I had a hypothetical GT this weekend using these rules and I was planning on taking 18 Victrix Honor Guard, what would you suggest bringing to round out a list? Asking for a friend.
2 to 3 Redemptive Dreadnoughts, a Ballistus Dreadnought, and Chaff to Taste. A low-level Lieutenant, Incursors, Intercessors, Scouts. Definitely try to include like at least 1 squad of Scouts. The up or down is super valuable in that list. Don't bother with the Gravis Captain. You can't really even afford to give him Deep Strike because you're probably putting it on one of the bricks. And then just play Redemptor. I would go and take a look at Nas's Lester list and then just tweak it for points.
Yeah, that's a great spot to start. Also,
I think
Nas is back
realistically
in
you
guard
should
again.
probably just play 15. I think 18 is actually too many. And I prefer 6-6-3 now and just play Ventress in the 3-man and just have it be a little more flexible. And then you can fit in like an entire extra Redemptor Dreadnought in that list now. If you cut one shaft unit, you get the third Redemptor.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a lot of 2-up saves.
Yeah, because you spend if you play 6-6-3, you're spending 600 points on Victory's Guard. The previous version was spending 630 on Victory's Guard. So you're losing 3 guys, but you're technically getting 10 points back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 50
Yeah,
points.
it's great, isn't it?
I hate it.
I think I'm gonna play. If I was going to play Victory's Guard, I'd play 6-3-3 right now. But I think 6-6-3 is also completely reasonable.
Yeah, no, I hate it. It's wonderful. I'm glad I don't have an event. Well, actually, I do have events coming up, so that'll be lovely.
Flying to America tomorrow.
Do we want to quickly talk about other things that counter them, aside from, because we touched on AdMech Rustalkers and other things like that real quick.
So there's some cool stuff like Sisters. If you have an army that has like a mechanic that can stack a bunch of debuffs on them, so Sisters can do some interesting stuff with like the Immolator fires the Storm Bolter or the Heavy Bolter at it. The Castigator fires the Storm Bolter. Now you're +1 AP and ignore cover, and then the Ret Squad unloads and kills 5 of them. Right, that's a very real thing you can do. My current favorite trick, and I really don't want to give this one away, but I'm going to.
No, don't talk trick until after the weekend.
Should I save it?
Save it. It's a fun one. We'll keep people wondering until they look at your list for the weekend.
That's fine. Okay. Things that they can blood surge into that can handle them. Vindicators being the biggest example, right? If your army can play Vindicators, consider playing 1 or 2.
So what you're saying is like good save, high toughness things. So T10
just
and above.
Anything that can shoot into the combat that it's in and engage them meaningfully, right? If you can make them blood surge into you and then just unload into them. So if you've got something that's got like really, really good pistol shooting, for example, if your detachment's got like a strat to make your guns pistols or something like that, or you just got a good baseline like unit with pistol shooting, you can do that. Just like anything that can just like drag them into you. You ideally, if you can run a Vectora, run a Vectora. They are CP thirsty. They love to use armor attempt. They love to use reactive move. They love to fight on death. They love to interrupt. You do not have infinite command points.
So what I'm hearing is Calidus stonks are going up.
Yeah, put a Calidus in your list if you're planning on engaging them in. If you're planning on getting within 9 of them, run a Calidus realistically or Cypher. I think T-Suns actually is kind of annoying. The ability for them to stack like that stacking buffs, right, is the thing. Like Victrix are powerful by stacking buffs on themselves. They're stacking -1 to wound, reactive move, blood surge, fight on death, armor attempt, cover, having an extra character, right? All that kind of stuff is how they become powerful. If you can take away some of that, it limits their ability. Vect reduces their stratagem abilities. Wrapping them with Warp Spiders reduces their reactive move abilities. Making the blood surge into vehicles that can shoot them reduces their ability to use like shooting profiles, right? Like for AdMech, you can do the first last chicken squad shoot them, and they blood surge into the second one. The second squad shoots at its feet. It stood still for heavy, so it's still hitting on 4s with full rerolls for oath. It's still hitting on 3s even, and then it's still winning on 3s rerolling. Right, you can chase the dragon that way, especially if you can stack buffs on it. That Thousand Suns Vindicator would actually probably be fucking terrifying. That thing is AP 5. That is not a fun profile to be on the receiving end of. Blood Angels have genuinely really good answers to them. You can slam Death Company Power Fists into these guys until they fall over, and you've got to fight on Death back
with spears.
And you can run a Vector. Yeah, Sandguard with spears. Death Company in general. Rough Riders are very, very good into them. So if you've got anything that's in that kind of like Lance AP4 profile category, consider that. I know for World Eaters, we were looking at stuff like Mauler Fiends and Angron again, sort of more like Anthony's WTC list that's much more about killing the big guys because you're not as worried about Eldar anymore, so you can catch these hands. And if Chaos Knights are going to stay prevalent in the metagame, having the ability to be like, fuck that guy, he's gone. Damage 4, if you've got damage 4 melee options, Riptides, or damage 4 anything options really, Riptides, Chaos Lord with Prime Test Subject, popping is once per game, the Lion, Gulliman, right? Anything that just slams at damage 4 with high AP is going to make Victor's Guard life miserable, especially the non-Calgar squads. Calgar squad is a little bit of a different beast. Calgar squad is more of a managed thing, but the Ventress and Sicaria squads are just 6 2-up save intercessors with 2 extra wounds. If you can get through it, they do die. They do not have an invulnerable save. They have no way to get one. There's no feel no pain. Armor Contempt can only be one place. It's all about challenging them multiple places at the same time. Grey Knights, look for... I would be playing 30 Purifiers in Grey Knights right now because, frankly...
The wound rerolls?
the wound rerolls, and also if your opponent's going to blood surge to stop you shooting this, like you drop 2 squads on them, the one is at 6, one is at 9. If you shoot the 6-inch squad first, if they want to blood surge into you, you charge them with the second one, and now you have a 3-inch charge. So you can shut down their blood surge ability by just having charge options, right? Shoot and then charge them. And then if they're in Vector on top of that, fight on death is much more diminished. Or they're fight on deathing into 2-up saves that they aren't often doing, they wound on 3s, right? Like look for opportunities to try to punish them for trying to play the game the way they want. Don't let them play their game at you. Now, they're OC2. They're still going to beat you half the time you do this shit, but there's ways. They don't love Wardens.
Golden Horde, 100%.
Warden, actually, I think Shield Host Wardens are a very good answer for them because you can face tank a guard. You can face tank a Victrix guard squad 100%, and then you just take +1 AP and you're still AP 3, and you will hurt them real bad. If you've got your own fight on death, again, you have to be really careful with the Vectors. If you've got good precision stuff, again, I keep coming back to it, but Rust Stalkers, precision out the character and then turn off the Vector for the next unit to go down the line, right? If you're not going to kill the Victrix guard squad, kill the character.
Yep.
It gets rid of the -1 to wound for the next activation as well, if that's the thing you care about, right? That is tied to the character being in the squad. If you've got battle shock mechanics, I know you were talking about running the Sidonian Scatros, right? Point click, take a battle shock test at -1. If you've got tools for that, I've seen Psychomancers in Necron lists. I've seen the Scatros. Anything that can shoot them and make them take a battle shock test, right? Emperor's Children, Noise Marines, Cacophonist. Run double Cacophonist if you want to have a better play into that answer. Like double Cacophonist, triple Wing Prince, genuinely kind of scary. They're not great at killing damage to stuff. Now, the other stuff in the army, the Redemptor Dreadnoughts and stuff like that, you've got to make sure you have a plan for killing that as well. You need to be able to deal with the vehicles. It is still a Gladius list, but there are ways.
And like you said earlier in the show, like because the rest of the top end got hit, hard enough for the most part, you can skew more towards dealing with them.
And you're going to have to. Frankly, there is only through. We cannot go around.
Yep. I mean, that kit list does a bang up job into them.
You catch them on a light table. The army it's just Space Marines moving 6, right?
Yep.
Maybe it's time to the return of the Night Spinner.
No. How many points is a Night Spinner now? Because it still has Twin Link Dev, right?
Too many. I don't even think it has Dev wounds anymore.
I thought it still did.
It probably does. They're like 190.
We'll know by how many points it still is.
They're 190.
Yeah, it definitely still has Dev then.
Yeah, and -2 to move, -2 to charge. Like if you have slow mechanics and stuff like that, that can be super powerful. Purgation Squad's pretty great. Exorcists are fun into them. Exorcists are like real sketchy because of the low AP and low damage, but aren't variable damage.
I think we're talking about the battle shocks.
Yeah, for sure. There is lots of things you can do, right? Good luck. That's all I got. We're all planning for it. We're all building. You've got to bring tools, but at least you get to ignore Eldar now when you're just building tools to kill Space Marines. And a lot of the stuff that gives good killing Space Marines is good at killing Admech models as well, which really helps. If it's good at killing Victrix Guard, it's probably pretty good at killing Iron Striders and Sicarians. So
yeah, that makes
what
sense.
I got.
All right. A no Victrix Honor Guard through Redemptor list holds up about as well as it did before.
Don't play no Victrix Guard. If you're going to play Ultramarines, put at least 9 in your list. Do not fuck about. You are just going to cannibalize your win rate for the sake of looking cool, and I don't care. Don't do that. All right, we have one super chat from Spooky Kabuki, $2 for deserved buffs. I believe this was about Thousand Suns. Do you know what, Spooky? Just for you, absolutely. The Thousand Suns buffs were necessary and needed, and I'm very glad they happened just for you.
See, I'm just glad I get to put this monstrosity back on the table.
Hell yeah, glorious. Well, my Gene Stealer Cult Kazakin are fucking ready. These are grizzled vets. Can't you tell?
They have definitely been grizzled.
They've been grizzled when I carved all the Imperial symbols off them to put Gene Stealer Cult logos on them. It's so much work. My hands are so sore. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can check out patreon.com/statcheck or YouTube membership below, and you can access to our Discord and chat with us a bunch more about this. We're live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time every Tuesday to talk more Warhammer. We'll be back with you guys soon. I hope everybody's had a wonderful evening. I hope the balanced Dataslate has not broken all of our brains too much. Very best of luck with the next time. Thank you for joining us, Jeremy, and we shall catch you all next time.
Cheers.